Okay, so we are doing the readings for the air signs here. Um, Coming up at least for the rest of this lunar cycle. And I do have three different Deviant Moon decks now, so I pre-shuffled each of the decks for the signs, so you don't have to listen to me shuffle. It also cuts down on the amount of time it takes me to do this once the camera is rolling. So this reading is for Gemini, and our root card is the Ace of Swords. And the main card here is the King of Swords. So, with the Ace and the King of Swords, this is all about control, right? Taking control. The root card is about taking control of your situation and being a victim of nothing. Full control because of taking full responsibility. Now, the King of Swords, the King of Swords is a commander, right? This is the Jean-Luc Picard card, and this is about not being afraid to give orders and not being afraid to make big decisions, but these decisions are made out of logic and reason, and I really am feeling a bit of badassery here. It's like making decisions, not being afraid to be a fucking badass and wielding the power that you have. So let's just see what leads up to that and where does that go. Now, what leads up to this situation is the reverse sun. And this is basically when you are trying to be open and yourself in an environment that is fundamentally not going to accept you. Um, and that leads to this case where you basically have to take control and give some orders and kind of be a badass. Now, as this energy takes place, it's going to highlight a Five of Cups. Now, these could be echoes of the same thing, but in the Five of Cups, these two used to be open to each other. This used to be a harmonious thing, right? And maybe that's true with this reverse sun as well. And it's just the current time is just making something that used to be harmonious and making it where it cannot be that way. This is oil and water, right? These two are not going to fucking mix. Now, it could be that eventually this will turn around again and these energies can be open and honest with each other and accepting. But current timeline, not the case. With the Five of Cups, this is emotional breakdown, communication breakdown, all of that stuff. So, with this situation, it's going to require some time away, right? Time to get like new perspectives and just basically not be in each other's faces. Here, it looks like there is kind of a commanding energy that's going to be required to make that happen. And so, like, the higher sort of self message that we get is a Page of Pentacles. In the Page of Pentacles, this is the open minded student. It's kind of saying, like, it would be a good time to spend learning some new thing that you have become interested in or something that you have found. But if this is like a really close personal relationship, it fucking needs some space. And you're probably going to have to give some orders and sort of be a badass to make that happen. And if you want to turn your attention to something else, we have this learning of a new skill. Um, let's see if there's anything else coming out of this particular. I mean, it just as I look, because we've got the nuts and bolts and stuff down on the bottom, and like this big rusty screw is what's sticking out. So maybe when you're in this situation, you can say screw you or rusty screw you. But this also might be talking about just some like physical stuff, learning how to build shit or whatever. Um, And if you have that in your life, you will know. But it looks like commanding energy here to sort of separate from a connection, and it's a close connection and an important connection, but the time is not right for it. Space needs to happen in order for anything to like clear up. So that is what we get for Gemini. Good luck with that. Now, this is my newest Deviant Moon deck, and I picked it up in Eureka Springs. I thought that it was going to be a bigger set of cards because the box was big, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know they made big Deviant Moon cards. But as it turns out, it is not bigger, and they have borders, but that's okay. So this is the Libra reading, which rhymes with zebra reading. Now, what we get here, a root card of the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles, this is inheritance. This is what is passed down to you from previous generations and what you will pass down to your children, right? So this is house and home and money and all that shit. So, and this should outlast you. Now, here, when it comes to the matter of this stability and inheritance, so there's kind of an anxiety situation in which you feel stuck and trapped. Now, the key in the Eight of Swords, even though this is an anxiety-filled moment where you feel stuck and all that shit, but it is temporary. The sun is coming up to end this fucking long nightmare. So that's good. And another message of the Eight of Swords is just don't jump out the window, because it will suck if you do. Now, let's see what we got leading up to that and where that goes. Okay. So what leads up to this anxiety-filled moment is a reverse Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, she can be really prickly. Here, when she is filled with loneliness and anxiety, she can be a real problem, right? She can be super mean. And her sword here is dripping blood because she just took her problems out on somebody. Maybe that was you. Maybe someone took their problems out on you. Anyway, that is leading to this anxiety-filled moment in which you are trapped, pretty much being hated on, presumably by the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is very clever, and she's very observant, so she knows exactly how to fuck with people in ways that are going to affect them. The one thing I'm going to say about this, the Queen of Swords is out of sorts, and it's because she herself is feeling anxiety and loneliness. So have patience with her. Try as much as you can to have patience with the Queen of Swords. And if you are the Queen of Swords, then, also try to have patience with yourself. When I look at all of this, it doesn't look like the Ten of Pentacles and this like inheritance is truly being threatened. This is just some anxiety about it. And of course, the Swords family are very busy in the head, so they are prone to anxiety. Now, where does it lead? This basically leads to boredom. It's like being trapped in the house, right? So the whole issue is the house. And here, this is also being trapped in the house and how it messes with the head. This is just emotional stagnation because you are trapped in the house and kind of bored. Now, when the Four of Cups shows up, there's three options. You can reconnect with what you have in the house because it's probably not that bad, and there's probably good stuff there to connect with. Or you can get on the ship and do something fun and have a new emotional experience, or you can be sad. Those are pretty much the three options. Let's just see if there is like a point to all this, like a higher self sort of, it's right on the top, the higher self sort of card, what we get is reversed Three of Cups. That's interesting. So the Three of Cups is about you and the people that you know really well, um, basically celebrating together and having fun. And the Three of Cups reversed, either that's not possible where you can't hang out with your friends, or all of your friends are going through a fucking rough patch. Um, and here, I guess it looks like the higher purpose is either that your friends are going through a rough patch. Now, the way that I could see this is maybe you can't get out of the house to like hang out with them or whatever, but it looks like there is a negative emotional thing that's going through everybody. So, solitude might be the way to deal with this. Um, nope. The other card that kind of spits out here, what's behind it, is the Temperance card, and this is patience and wisdom and understanding. So when you're dealing with a reverse Queen of Swords, and she can be a problem, um, just try to understand. Try to see things from farther away, so you can see a bigger picture and just sort of try to understand what she's going through. And I mean, it's wisdom. So this thing wants to show up too. Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is like the impulsive journey, going on a trip. So that would be like getting on the ship in the Four. If you can get the fuck out of town, do it. Or go someplace cool. Just do that. But the Temperance card is saying, like, through this whole situation, try to be understanding. Try to there's like a greater wisdom that can come out of the situation if you actually see all of the pieces, and give them relevance. All of the moving pieces, give them all relevance, and you will gain some greater wisdom and it won't suck as bad. So that is what we get for Libra. Now, the third Deviant Moon deck. This is for Aquarius. And our root card is the Ace of Pentacles. And the main card is the reverse Six of Cups. So this is generally the card that shows up for people who start their own business, but it really is about taking your potential. Like in the Pentacle is your universe of potential and turning it into reality. So here, what we get is a reverse Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is about memory and sort of reliving the good old days. And this thing reversed is like really looking forward to new experiences and not trying to relive what happened before. So as you're faced with this new opportunity and like a new path, creating your own path in the Ace of Pentacles, it's saying like try not to recreate what happened before. Try to make sure that you have a new outlook, or you're trying to build something new instead of trying to rebuild the past. So what leads up to this situation is the reversed Judgment card, and this is basically showing that in the past you were judged unfairly, or you judged the whole situation unfairly, right? So as you are in the situation to create your potential this time, just don't fucking do any of that stuff again. Don't do it like you did before. And as it moves forward, we get an Eight of Cups, which is about walking away from old emotional baggage. So by doing it again and doing it completely differently and unconnected, it allows you to walk away from the emotional garbage that formed when you tried to put your plans into place before. So again, we're going to look at sort of a higher message, and it's that Eight of Swords again. With this, I would just say take your time. Don't let yourself be pressured into making something happen immediately. Like, let it start slowly, polako. Let it be slow. Um, because there's a certain amount of this, the moon fucking with the head. It's just like sort of being trapped a little bit. But make sure you're not doing things the way you were doing before. And also, don't try to recreate the thing that happened before. And that's what we get here. So I do personal readings. You can email me, tarotbyfergus@gmail, if you want to schedule a personal reading. And that's what we get for now. And peace.